live, that's right. From Pennsylvania to across the globe, it's time for the Steelers All-Star Show.
Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Stone, joined once again by my co-host, Cody Tanner. Cody, how are you on this Victory Monday?
Victory Monday it is, James. I'm doing fantastic. It's weird. It's a little reminiscent. We're going a little flashback kind of to the good old days where it was just me. Not the good old days. There's still good days now. But it's just me and you on the podcast. We're not joined by Nick, who has some stuff going on, and Jill, who is also busy today. So it's just us, but I'm doing splendid, James. I mean, it's Victory Monday. Pittsburgh first win against the division rival of the year. I have a feeling we're going to see a bunch of them this year. So I'm doing great, James. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm hoping you're correct that this is the first of many division rival wins. Good chance of it, it seems like. The division opponents are not doing so well. So
No,
really nice to see Pittsburgh put some things together. We're going to talk about all that, but definitely a very cool thing. Cool experience for you and I, too, before we get into the breakdown of the game. We got an opportunity to travel and go visit Jill at her bar, Gresso's, out in Columbus, Ohio. Had a tremendous time there. A very awesome experience. The owner was really, really nice. Our waiter, Josh, hooked us up. Had some excellent service from there. The people, just the environment there, just high fives after every play. The Steelers chant of "There's another Pittsburgh Steelers first down." Like they did that after every single first down, just like they do in the stadiums. Just a lot of awesome people that we got a chance to meet there. So appreciate every single one of you, and just great experience there at Gresso's. If you're in the Columbus area, highly recommend going there for Steelers games.
Yeah. Huge shout out. Zach, the owner, was really pleasant to talk to, was an awesome guy. Steelers, everything. So he was really welcoming when we got the chance to talk to him. And then, like you said, Josh, the waiter, did a phenomenal job of handling us. We were a little all over the place, never being there before, making some recommendations and stuff like that. At the end of the day, he said I was the only person that he's ever witnessed order 2 smash burgers, which were phenomenal, to the point that I ordered 2. So yeah, I mean, it was an awesome experience, awesome vibe. It was fun to see a Steelers bar like that again. A big shout out to our sponsor, Edinburgh Hotel Bar, as well. And we'll get to that in just a second. Edinburgh Hotel Bar has a little bit of an older crowd, and so they're all huge Steeler fans. They've been Steeler fans their entire life, and it's a very cool vibe when we go there. But Gresso's was a very younger vibe, and they were a little bit more energetic and upbeat. So that was also very, very fun. So it's cool to see a different Steelers bar. This is the third one I've gotten to go to. Obviously, Edinburgh Hotel Bar in Edinburgh being a Steelers bar. Gresso's now, and there was another one that I can't remember the name that I went to when I was in Texas in San Antonio. So awesome time. Thank you, Jill, for having us, and thank you to Gresso's and Josh and Zach, the owner, just being awesome people. And we got to meet a bunch of Jill's friends, and we did get the experience. You know, Jill talks about all the time how she walks around and never can sit still. She wasn't sitting still very much, so that was a fun time. My girlfriend came with us, and James and I and her, a lovely 7 hours in a car together. But it was a good time. So awesome time. James, good segue. Let's give a shout out to the Edinburgh Hotel Bar.
Absolutely. Let me pull that up there. I didn't have that ready. Supporters of Steelers by the Lake podcast include the Edinburgh Hotel Bar, serving a variety of lunch and dinner items every day from their location at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinburgh. Information is available at 814-734-5103 or online at edinburghhotelbar.com. The Edinburgh Hotel Bar, where you had me at hotel.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, you do see an image right now on the screen. That's from homecoming a few years ago. It was homecoming weekend this weekend in Edinburgh, and it was a great time. Busy weekend for us. But let's get back to the main source of the show, James. Pittsburgh at home, first division game against Cleveland Browns. You couldn't quite ask for a better game. You could in a couple areas, I'm sure. Less field goals, more touchdowns, stuff like that. Definitely less penalties. Most penalized game we've had so far this year. What which again, some of them we're not even sure happened. It's not like we got to see replays and got to see what actually happened. But really, really proud of how this game turned out and the overall performance of Pittsburgh against their first division rival. So let's break this down before we go too far. Let's talk inactives, James.
Absolutely. So some surprises, some non-surprises. We knew Calvin Austin III with that shoulder was likely to miss the game. He was on the inactive list. We are used to Andrus Peat at this point. He's been on the inactive list almost every week, a healthy scratch. He's just that last offensive lineman at the back end of the depth chart, so no surprises there. Now, the other one's a little bit of a surprise. We did see DeMarvin Leal on the inactive list. He was a healthy scratch. Logan Lee on the inactive list, and then also Chuck Clark. So those were your healthy scratches, just guys they decided to go a different direction for one reason or another. And some of their backups and other guys that got on the field did play pretty well. So definitely some interesting things to see there. Then the big news, the Steelers finally filled that 53rd man position on the roster. They've been at 52 for like 3 weeks now, ever since the injury to the offensive lineman that's out for the season now. They did decide to promote Kayshawn Williams, who was the very exciting wide receiver and punt return and kick return man from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. This is not a game day elevation. This is a official promotion. So he's part of the 53 now. And I imagine after his performance in this game will probably remain there. Because you don't want to let somebody that electric off the team. You don't want to try to sneak them back down to the practice squad. Later it gets into the season, people start stealing guys. We've already seen 2 players stolen off our practice squad. So it's a risky move when a guy's already shown some flashes, and especially this guy being an undrafted rookie.
Yeah. Yeah, he performed very well, had a massive punt return early in the game that got called back from a phantom illegal block, which we're not even going to get into it, other than it wasn't what they claimed it was. The announcers even agreed with us that it wasn't there. Kind of had that issue all day long where penalties were kind of getting called on Pittsburgh with nothing to prove that it happened or proof that it didn't happen. But yeah, Keyshawn, very electric in the return game, very agile, has a very quick one-step pop where he'll make it look like he's going one way and it's a very quick juke and it can get defenders off their toes, off their feet, confuse them. And I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward because he's only going to get more comfortable. He had the preseason and we kind of started seeing things pop, but excited to see him get that promotion. So that kind of went over a little bit of special teams, but let's go ahead and talk this football game. Obviously, James, Pittsburgh came out with a win 23-9. Exciting to see Pittsburgh put up another 20-plus point game. I think they need to put up more 30 points. That was one of my keys to success, which didn't happen, unfortunately, which is fine. But Aaron Rodgers came out, performed very well, 21 of 30 for 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Getting back to that consistent no interception games, which is like what we thought we were going to see from Rodgers. He had a couple bad games early, but I think this offense, especially with the tight ends, is getting more in groove with each other and getting in rhythm, finding the open spots on the field. He threw to all 4 tight ends in this game, which is just amazing and impressive. The stats that we have in the receiving room or in the receiving list as tight ends. So
absolutely. And I greatly appreciate the way Pittsburgh changed things up as far as the game plan. Yep. You always get to see, what is Pittsburgh going to do on the first drive. You always get concerned about how that's going to go. And in this case, you see the jumbo package right out of the gate with Spencer Anderson, Darnell Washington, and I think everybody, including all of us watching there, everyone inside the stadium, all thought the same thing. Here comes the run. Here's the jumbo package. Not the case. They go play action, hit Darnell over the top for 36 yards on the first play of the game, and it set the tone right out of the gate that you think you know what we're going to do. You have no idea what we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you hear barking in the background, that's just the Cleveland fans still a little upset. So, no, very awesome performance from Darnell. We can talk Aaron a little bit more, but I do want to talk these tight ends for a little bit of extended period of time because I think it's well-deserved. Darnell, 3 catches for 62 yards. Jonnu, 3 catches for 18, lower end on the average for him, but they tried to be tricky with him. They tried to be strategic. He's like the gadget guy. I'm not exactly liking how they're doing it. It's a lot of like quick screens, and he's getting upfield. A 6-yard average isn't bad. You're still getting a first down every 2 plays with that, but want to see John. I mean, John is supposed to be this crazy deep threat, potential wide receiver guy, tight end mix, and we haven't really seen that yet. Connor Hayward, the 1 catch for 12 yards and the touchdown, did an awesome job of switching directions in the end zone, exactly what Aaron kind of pointed him to. And then Pat, 1 target, 1 catch. We're used to seeing this, 11 yards. Excited to see him get back involved because for a while he wasn't. I know it's only 1 catch, but it's a start. It's somewhere. So excited to see these guys get rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more there. It's just nice to see Pat get involved even in the slightest manner with the offense again, because I think it's going to be very important in other games. You're not going to be able to go heavy and go smash mouth every week. You are going to have to go light with some of these guys and go a little bit more vertical. So I'm with you. I'd like to see that a little more with Jonnu, a little more vertical stuff. We did finally get to see them kind of lining up both Pat and Jonnu outside in like wide receiver type setups. A lot less of lining up in line as a normal tight end, a lot more outside. So I like that. I think that's a reason why you don't have to be as concerned about Calvin Austin missing a few games with his shoulder injury, because 2 of your wide receivers, in fact, the 2 most talented ones, are guys that can be used in space and kind of substitute as a quasi wide receiver in the passing game. Loved that touchdown pass to Connor Hayward, and this is exactly what Aaron Rodgers was talking about in the preseason when he was glowing about Connor Hayward, saying Connor always does the right thing, right? That's one of the things that he bragged about with Connor. And there it was, he got the opportunity. He's looking back at Aaron while Aaron's in a scramble drill. Aaron points. Connor goes the way he says to go. He throws it right in front of him and leads him perfectly in a touchdown. Not an easy one by any means. Diving catch, a high degree of difficulty. But Connor made an excellent catch. Aaron put the ball right where it needed to be. And it's these chemistry things that we want to see more and more of as the season goes along. We even saw some of this with a dump-off pass that Aaron had where Jaylen Warren was in pass protecting. Then he broke off. There was kind of like a little flip pass out there. It wasn't a normal throw by any means. He gets it to Jaylen, and they get maybe a 4 or 5 yard gain on the play. Nothing extensive, but the key was the completion. The key was not taking a loss on the play. You don't necessarily have to have 10, 15 yards on every single play. Sometimes it not being an incomplete or an interception is the key.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that's what we want to see. What we want to continue to see is not these incomplete passes. Obviously, we're not seeing turnovers, which is phenomenal. Pittsburgh's forcing a lot of turnovers, which is great. You shared this with our group chat earlier. We're number 2 so far through the year in turnovers, or excuse me, forced turnovers.
And sacks.
So just looking forward to Pittsburgh being a dominant defense again. I feel like we're seeing it. I thought last year and even a little bit in the beginning of this year, it was like this defense was supposed to be the holy grail of this team, and we're struggling. And seeing Pittsburgh be as dominant as they've been the last few weeks has been very enjoyable. It's a breath of fresh air to realize, hey, the defense is still the defense. The defense is still the steel curtain, what we're expecting out of them. The secondary's been banged up, even have some injuries coming up again. But it's nice to see Pittsburgh get back into that rhythm. And especially going back to the offensive side of the ball where we're at, there's no fumbles. We didn't even let up a sack in this game. And Aaron is managing the game very well. The ball's leaving his hand quickly. When it's not, he's accurately extending the play by getting out of the pocket, scrambling when he can, and throwing the ball away when he needs to. So I was really skeptical of Aaron at the beginning of the year, and I still kind of am. I still I want to see what happens when we go up against a tougher team, a tougher opponent.
Absolutely.
But I'm getting excited to see the potential of what's happening with this offense. I mean, this easily could have been a 30-point game if we knock off some of these field goals, if we make the one that Boswell unfortunately slipped on his plant foot. So putting up 30-point games is a big sign and a telltale sign for me of the offense is moving or the defense is getting some pick sixes, which we were calling for during the game a couple times. So
Yeah,
Um,
I think one of the things I'm excited about with this is that we look at Aaron's numbers from the game, 21 of 30, 235 yards. And he was his biggest issue, I feel like, in this game was the out patterns. The timing wasn't there on out patterns. There was probably like 4 or 5 of them where he just had the ball too far out in front of the guy, whether it was DK or whether it was another receiver or even a tight end. Those are the ones that they're still missing on. As the timing gets better throughout the season, which I do believe it will, they're going to start hitting those. And then you're not going to be looking at 21 of 30 on it. You're going to be looking at like 25 of 30. It's not going to be 235 yards. It's going to be 275 yards. It's not going to be 2 touchdowns. It's going to be 3. Things are going to ramp up that 1 extra, that 2 extra as things go on, as the chemistry gets better. Even I don't know if you mentioned this or not, that deep ball he threw to DK, where it was just short of him. Aaron said that the wind took that one. He was throwing it into the wind, and that's
looked up. He looked. I
Yeah.
thought I saw that in the game, and I thought it was funny. I was like, "Don't you be doing that."
Yeah, but probably if he keeps a little less air under that ball, throws it on a line a little bit more, maybe it doesn't get affected by the wind. But just the fact that it was underthrown is definitely what caused that to happen. So there's still some little things that can be fine-tuned, and it's nice to be talking about these things off of another win.
Yep.
And off of a double-digit win at that. So finally Pittsburgh's sitting in a situation where they have more points for than against on this 4-1 record, with a nice cushion between them and the next closest team, which is crazy, but it's the Cincinnati Bengals with 2 wins.
Yep. No, it's a cushion. It's something to look forward to. I think the big thing that I'm processing from the offense, and we're going to transition now a little bit. I think this is a good segue. Is we're seeing the more complete offense.
Yeah.
We had 100 yards rushing this game. Like, yeah, Aaron threw for what was it? 235 yards. We rushed for 100 yards, 335 yards as an offense. I mean, 350 is probably average-ish in the NFL for winning games. And it was enjoyable to watch the run game be able to happen. Jaylen Warren, 11 for 52, 4.7 yard average. Kenneth Gainwell, 6 for 22. Caleb Johnson, we called for him. We wanted him to get more action. He got it a little bit. I think he's still developing some comfortability behind this offensive line. His longest rush was 9 yards. That was great. But 6 for 15 on the day. Jonnu Smith had a handoff and went 1 for 10. Aaron Rodgers 1 for 1, and that, whatever. And then Mason Rudolph coming in and technically getting rushing yards, not really, but kneeling the ball at the end of the game. So I don't know. I think it's going to be exciting to watch this team function more well-rounded as an offense.
I agree, and I thought this was a real nice performance from Jaylen Warren. He ran really hard, got a lot of yards after contact in this game. Again, we're not seeing like the big splash runs yet. I think that'll come in time as the offense continues to improve. This Cleveland Browns defense was one of the top run defenses in the entire NFL, allowing a very, very small amount of yardage on the season. And Pittsburgh, for the most part, ran very well against them. I thought kind of an off day for Gainwell. It was a little bit more of a power game, and that's just not Gainwell's game. So he struggled a lot more, I felt, in this game. But Jaylen was tremendous in his first game back after missing 1 game. So I thought excellent performance out of him. And just in general, there were some holes. The pile was moving. We even saw a decent amount of Mason McCormick getting to celebrate like he loves to do. When Mason McCormick's 6-7 yards downfield and the whole pile's there, it's because he won the play again.
Yep.
And we're seeing this a lot this year where Mason's winning his battle, and he's not just, oh, I won my block, okay. He's just driving him down the field until it ends up on the ground. And it's either he's pancaking his guy or a pileup happens because of how far he has driven his person back. So I think Mason McCormick is very quietly right in front of our eyes turning into an above-average guard. And it's a pretty neat thing, especially being a small school kid that was a 4th-round pick. He's starting to look like a real steal.
Yeah. I mean, it's enjoyable watching him with those little kid moments. He just like
Yeah.
just the first down, the play. He's having fun. And
Yep.
I think that's an underrated thing about professional sports in general, but especially football. When teams are having fun, or there's one or two things, either having fun or being competitive, like internally competitive with each other. We saw the 70s Steelers do that a lot. Anytime you see Mel Blount talk about the way they played, he's like, I didn't want that guy to have more interceptions than me, or that guy to have more stats than me. And so it's that friendly competition, but they have fun doing it. And it's exciting to see Pittsburgh have that, especially in the run game, something that we've struggled with so much in the last few years. And to see an offensive lineman that's going to have fun with it and get down and dirty and push the pile and play till the whistle, like through the whistle. I'm very, very excited to see what Mason McCormick can do moving forward. And I'm excited to get him another contract because I think it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, he's only second year with the team now. So you got a couple more years of him. He's definitely going to be one of those dudes that gets after year 3 and gets that proven performance escalator where he gets a nice big raise for all the playing time. Him and Zach Frazier are both on pace for that. So I'm excited to see them get what they are clearly earning. Let's talk about this offensive line a little bit here, Cody. I mean, realistically, they shut out this Browns fierce pass rush, this Browns fierce run defense that everybody was talking about that had so much success against so many teams. 0 sacks for this team. We ran successfully, ran for 100 yards on them, moved the ball basically at will. Most of the times when an offensive drive stopped for Pittsburgh, it wasn't a play by the Browns. It was a miscue by the Steelers, whether it be a dropped pass or a pass where the timing was off. A few times Gainwell got stuffed in the running game, but generally it was Pittsburgh miscues, not Cleveland plays that stopped drives.
Yeah,
you're
right.
And what a play, what a game for Broderick Jones, huh? He drew the tough matchup. Myles Garrett decided he was the fish, right? That's the guy he was going to go against. He didn't want anything to do with Troy Fautanu, which tells you something. And he didn't record even a solo tackle in the game. No sacks.
No one tackle. One tackle. That's it.
Oh,
no
sure?
solo tackle. No solo.
Yeah, all he had was assists. I think he had 2 assists in the game. No solo tackles at all. No forced fumble, no fumble recovery. I think he had like 1 or 2 pressures, but that was it. Very, very minimal to no impact. This is 3 games in a row where Myles Garrett has 0 sacks, starting to look like it was more of a fluke at the beginning of the season than it was his actual skill level.
Yep. I mean, and you see that all over the place. Teams play, especially offensive line. I feel like it takes, for most teams, they take a little bit of time, unless they've been together for the last few years, to get rolling on all cylinders. And I don't remember who he played in the first few weeks, excuse me. But yeah, I mean,
one of them was the Bengals. So
I mean, he's
the worst
proving
offensive line in the league.
Yeah, he's proving to be not as, and the competition or the conversation's always there of TJ or Miles, which is hilarious because I don't think it's close. And neither do you. We talked about it with Henry. At the shout out to Henry at Gresso's. I mean, it's not a close competition. People think it is because Myles Garrett poaches his guys and goes against the weaker offensive linemen and gets stats. But stats aren't everything, especially when you consider the fact that TJ still beats him in everything, stat-wise. So, I don't know. We're excited to see what's going to happen. Real quick, let's bounce over to the receiver room. We talked about the tight ends a little bit. DK Metcalf, 4 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown. This is 4 weeks in a row he's got a touchdown. That ties his career long for most games with a consecutive touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell, the running back, got 6 catches for 14 yards. That was unfortunately low average. Connor Hayward, we went over. Roman Wilson, 1 for 12, which was nice to see him get involved. And then Jaylen Warren, 2 for 11. What I'm noticing here is the running backs and Jonnu Smith specifically were getting a lot of passes at the line of scrimmage. We're not getting the blocking we need to have success on those plays. I'm hoping Pittsburgh either gets that rolling better or stops trying to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, like you said, that's the frustrating part, these short passes that aren't turning into stuff. So I'd like to see a little bit more of hitting guys on the runs, maybe some angle routes where instead of the running back just going out in the flat, sitting there and waiting, he goes into the flat and then cuts inside to the middle. Angle routes are usually pretty tough for a middle linebacker to defend. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that getting used as the season goes along here. But yeah, honestly, Kenneth Gainwell's struggles in the receiving game were more glaring than his struggles in the rushing game. Just couldn't seem to break a tackle, couldn't seem to get the extra yards after contact this week, which was the opposite of the previous week. But yeah, he's not the biggest running back in the world. He's closer to 200 pounds, I think. So
Yeah.
Not the most stout dude. So if you're going against a more power-oriented team, it just might be a little bit more difficult for you. But to me, this game was the breakout game receiving-wise for Darnell Washington. As much as we've loved watching him play the last few years, all of us, even including Jill and Nick as well, who aren't with us tonight, we've all been begging for more usage of Darnell Washington. A lot of times the talk of just throw it to him and he'll fall forward and gain 5 yards. The thing I love about Darnell is if he gets the opportunity to move forward, it takes 3 or 4 guys to bring him down, and you start seeing safeties and corners going like this because they want nothing to do with trying to tackle his big butt. He's such a massive, strong individual that it just normally takes a while before people can get him to the ground. So not using him is just a detriment to the offense, and we got a chance to see him get used a pretty good amount in this game with very good success. So this could be an extremely important part of the future plan to kind of punish those defensive backs. Not that they've been bad and they need punishing, just like you want them to be scared of trying to hit somebody. If they get in the mindset of, oh my God, I hit this guy, I'm just going to bounce off of him, it leaks over into hitting the smaller guys too. So they start to get a little bit more hesitant when hitting a running back or a wide receiver because they just hit that 300-pound tight end and bounced off of them. So it starts getting into their psyche a little bit, and that's why utilizing a guy that big and strong is so important.
I mean, who was it? Jaylen Warren with that angry run early in the game ran over one of those secondary guys too.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're gonna get beat up by our tight ends, and you're gonna get beat up by Jaylen Warren. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I love to see the smash mouth, the tough, the aggression from these guys, and Darnell again getting involved is something we've been requesting since he freaking got drafted. So super happy about that. You want to bounce? Oh, I mean, we can talk offensive line as a whole.
Just real quick before we go there, shout out to DK Metcalf. Was everything super crisp in the game? No. But he's making those combat catches in the end zone, and he's making them consistently. He's not getting a lot of easy catches in the end zone, but this is now 4 games in a row with him having a touchdown receiving, which ties his career best. So looking like a very, very good investment for Pittsburgh. That second-round pick for DK Metcalf, he's really returning the investment there and making them look very smart for making that trade. But, yeah, let's talk this offensive line, man, because they did their thing. I didn't think there was one guy that had a bad game out of the whole group. I thought they all blocked well. There were some hiccups here and there where a defender won their battle. But for the most part, the pass blocking was good. The run blocking was maybe even better than the pass blocking at times. And you have to be able to say, man, when you come away from a game like this where everybody's talking about how good the Browns defense is and you hold them to 0 sacks, that is a testament to how good this offensive line is right now. They weren't missing anyone on their front 7. They were 100% healthy on that front 7. So they have no excuses as to why they weren't getting to Aaron Rodgers other than just trying to say that he was just throwing the ball too fast. So that's on you, man. Like, our offensive line played one heck of a game, I thought.
No, they did. And I thought the guards, I mean, obviously Broderick Jones against the Myles Garrett thing is huge. I don't want to underestimate or understate that.
Yeah.
But I thought the guards had a phenomenal game. Fotanu and McCormick, excuse me, not Fotanu, McCormick and Siamalu did just a phenomenal job of the pulling blocks were good. Anytime they needed to do support on the outside, whether Broderick needed help or Fotanu needed help, I thought they did a great job. there was one part where I believe it was Siamalu was trying to back up. He helped the right tackle a little bit and then saw that Frazier was getting pushed and he just turned his back. He just said, I'm not going to move. And he just kind of planted himself with his back to the freaking defender because that was the move that he could do in that situation. Don't get me wrong. Please don't do that every week. But he did what he had to do to kind of like ensure this guy's not getting through us. And it was just really good to see these guys kind of operate better than we've seen them do so far. And again, I mean, shout out to Broderick handling Myles Garrett the way he did. I don't believe he got called for holding at all either.
No.
I think there might have been a false start by somebody, but I don't think it was him either. I mean, he had a clean game against Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett didn't record a stat. So I don't want to count like they give assisted tackles to you touching somebody on the ground. I don't want to count it even as a stat.
Yeah, right.
It's not the same like a half sack. A half sack, they have to be able to not determine who got there. So bravo to Broderick, bravo to the offensive line. Let's keep it moving. If they can stay healthy, I think this team's got a really good chance of making a good playoff run, especially with a weaker division this year. Bounce over to defensive side of the ball, defensive front, James. Those one of your keys to success was 6 batted down passes. We got 4.
And that was 4 from the front 6. There were a lot of passes deflected by the secondary in this game. Had I not specifically said from the front 6, then you would have been looking at even more accurate of a total there. But these guys were getting their hands up. TJ Watt again had a play where he evaded 3 blockers and then got up there and got both hands on the thing, and just guys getting their hands up. And you knew it wasn't going to be easy to bat the ball down because you knew Dillon Gabriel was going to be on the move. They weren't going to just leave him in the pocket. He's too short. So you got to have him on the move. Our guys did their job. They got their hands up. We got a lot of deflections in the game and a lot of opportunities because of it. But you got to really like the way things are shaping up for Derek Harmon. It's incredible how much of a difference this defense has been since Derek Harmon inserted into the lineup after that knee healing up for him week 3. That's when the run stopping started to get better, and it has gone from better to one of the better in the league the last few weeks. The Browns were crazy and actually ran towards the left side of our defense a number of times in this game, which went right to TJ Watt and Derek Harmon, which was not open. That was not an open side of the field at all. Harmon ends up with 4 tackles. TJ ends up with 5 tackles. Harmon gets himself a sack. TJ a half sack. They were very active. And Derek Harmon, with his 2nd sack now on the season, ties the rookie record for the Steelers in defensive linemen and most sacks in a rookie season. I know it's a low bar, but he's only played in 3 games. So you got to love the way this is trending for him. And it's a formidable front right now, man, with him in Benton and Hayward. And Benton and Hayward didn't really register a lot of stats, but they were stout against the run. We saw a decent amount of Daniel Okwale in the game, a decent amount of Y.A. Black. They didn't really register a lot as far as their statistics, but they were stout against the run. And that's what we need these guys to be. These top 5 defensive linemen, we talked about it before the game. We're going to talk about it again now. The top 5 guys can stop the run, man. And 4 of those 5 guys can get after the quarterback a little bit in the passing game too. So it's really looking like a solid defensive line right now. And kind of an unfortunate thing for Isaiah Loudermilk, because when he got injured, the defense got a lot better.
He did. And I want to point out the Patriots, which I believe was the first game he came back for, right? Derek Harmon.
It was the 3rd game. So yeah, whichever that was.
Yeah. So before that, Patriots ran for 119 yards on us. So they got over 100. Before that,
but a lot of that was the quarterback, wasn't it?
Correct.
I feel like he had like 40 yards or something.
Yes. I mean, that was technically the same way for it wasn't. Breece Hall ran for 107 on us on week 1, and the Jets put up 182 total. So almost 200 yards passing. The Seahawks game, in that game, the Seahawks ran for a total of 117 yards against us. And then since then, obviously, the Vikings, I said, 118? Or the Patriots, the Vikings ran for 70 and the Browns ran for 65.
Yeah. It's just getting better every week.
I mean, it's literally getting phenomenal. And a shout out real quick to Nick Pretzel, who is not here with us. One of his goals was holding Quinshawn Junkins to under 50 yards. I think he ran for 35 was the number I saw. So
yeah. And let's be real. Judkins has been good this year.
Yep.
This rushing game for the Browns has been the best part of their offense thus far this year, and Pittsburgh shut it down. So it's a really tremendous thing to see. And now that front defensive unit is healthy and whole, and we've figured out the top 5 guys, and they're getting the majority of the snaps now, you're getting to see Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson and Cole Holcomb flowing to the ball, making hits at the line or behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, Patrick Queen with another awesome game, 9 total tackles here with a pass deflected as well. He was just all over the place, making all kinds of hits and some really big hits later in the game, too. He was really lowering the boom on some guys. So you got to love, he almost had an interception, too. His fingertips diving for it, almost got that dang thing. Peyton Wilson, 7 tackles on the game. He had a tackle for loss. Even Cole Holcomb got involved with another 3 tackles. He's not being used as much as the other 2. But these 3 guys in this rotation in the middle linebacker room is working real well right now. And there is no coincidence that their production is looking that much better after the return of Derek Harmon. This is why when people were calling for Terrell Austin's head after the first 3 weeks, I was like, you're crazy. Like, just stop. Wait till this defense gets healthy, and then let's talk about it again. Because now we're looking at it, and we're saying, well, shoot, this is the second best team in the entire NFL at sacking the quarterback, and they have 1 less game played than a lot of teams right now. This is the second best team in the entire NFL in forcing turnovers. And again, 1 less game played than most teams at this stage. You're looking at a defense that's looking very good now that they're healthy.
Yep.
So it was a little bit of crying wolf way too early when week 1 we had 4 starters out, and it didn't get any better week 2. And now that these guys are all healthy and we're getting to see them all, boy, this really could be that really sharp elite defense that we were hearing about early on. You know, this is what Juan Thornhill told us, is this could be a really elite defense. And it's starting to look like they might be right on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna be the entire defense. Juan Thornhill is going to look like a stellar guy because of calling out how good this defense is going to be. And he even came in and had some good plays. He should have had an interception in this game. We're not going to, so many people should have had interceptions in this game. It's not even funny. Nick Herbig with an almost 8. Yeah. I don't remember the guy's name at the bar.
No, it was Henry's cousin, I believe.
Yeah. And he was just, every time we almost got an interception, he's like, we're going to get one. And we were just dying because he's so excited about it. Yeah. And he's like, it's going to happen. And it should have happened. It really should have. The number of times we got our hand on the balls on defense was just crazy. And I thought the Thornhill should have had an easy one, and Nick Herbig should have been able to reel that one in. Patrick Queen even should have had the other one early on the sideline.
And Joey Porter in the end zone, like, he got both hands on that. I mean, the wide receiver made it difficult, but Joey did get both hands on that one.
Just incredible to watch the team play this well and do all the things they're doing. But Juan Thornhill, I mean, a guy that's played for, he played for Cleveland when they had a really good defense. Don't get me wrong. He
played for him last year.
Yeah. I mean, even before then, I thought they've had a better defense recently than last year. Or not recently, but before last year. But it's like the team, when they're moving on all cylinders, when the guys can trust the other guys around them, which is what happens when the starters get back in. When Derek Harmon comes in, that D-line plays different. They can trust that, okay, Derek Harmon's going to hold his own.
Boy, does he.
It's just different when you know you don't have to worry about picking up the slack for somebody else. And so I'm excited to see what this defense can do because Juan Thornhill's right. It's going to be something special. It's going to be fun to watch. They're already doing amazing things. And once they can, I mean, I tell you what, that entire defense needs to stay after practice this week and work on the jug machine because we got to catch some balls, man. It's crazy. But I want to give a shout out. I know we're bouncing around the defense a little bit. We're a little ADHD compared to how we normally do this, but Jalen freaking Ramsey with 2 sacks on the game. I mean, who, no, like you said at the bar, no, I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Nope.
So, and one of my keys to success was also Pittsburgh having at least 10 stats or 10 individual stats in sacks, quarterback hits, pressures. We had 16 QB hits alone. So they did a phenomenal job of making this guy feel uncomfortable in Dylan Gabriel. Patrick Queen got apparently upset him a little bit because he kind of threw some hands at Patrick Queen before walking away, which I thought was hysterical. It looked like a little kid having a tantrum, and it was so funny. But just this defense on all levels is getting to the quarterback. We had sacks from the defensive line. We had sacks from the linebackers. I believe it was Alex Highsmith had a half. Nick Herbig had 2. TJ Watt had a half. And then you had Jalen Ramsey with 2 and Derek Harmon with the 1 sack. I mean, all the guys at all the different levels are getting involved in pressuring the quarterback, which is just amazing to see because we haven't seen a good corner blitz since Mike Hilton, and that's been a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So just, a tremendous thing to see. And honestly, how the heck was he even playing? This is 2 weeks ago. He injured a hamstring, and Aaron Rodgers made sure to say that he's never seen somebody work so hard to try to get back from an injury. I don't know what Jalen Ramsey was doing to help speed up the healing process, but this is a guy that's been in the league for 20 years saying, I've never seen someone work so hard to try to come back from an injury. I've never seen somebody say, hey, you know what? I'm not sure I'm 100%. I'm not going to go with a Thursday game coming up. I'm just not going to play the next 2. I'll play after that. He just couldn't say enough good things about how good of a teammate Jalen Ramsey is for playing, even though there was probably a little bit of a possibility of re-injury when you're coming back that quick off of a hamstring. For all we know, he was sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber every night just to get every little edge he could, get laser treatment on it. Who knows? But he did everything he could and played a heck of a game, man. What a game. He wasn't even playing the full game. He was kind of on a snap count. They weren't playing him every defensive snap there. But boy, did he make a huge impact in the game. You know, we, like you said, it's been since Mike Hilton, since we've had a DB, safety or corner, be able to get to the quarterback and get him down. And poor Dylan Gabriel, I think Jalen Ramsey about ran through him the first time he sacked him. So tremendous effort by him. The outside linebackers, I just kind of want to finish up the front 7 real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
These guys just couldn't be blocked one-on-one. Let's call it what it is. You know, anytime TJ Watt got an opportunity one-on-one, he beat Conklin pretty easily. Conklin ended up leaving the game early injured. His backup, Cam Robinson, left the game early injured. They were running in circles trying to figure out where our outside linebackers were coming from. And the answer was everywhere. You know, they were coming off the edge, but they just couldn't slow them down, couldn't stop them. Tremendous game out of Nick Herbig. Another 2-sack performance. He's now leading the team with 4.5 sacks, as TJ's got 4 on the season. Another half sack for Highsmith. You know, he's just been injured. Otherwise, he'd probably have a lot more than he has on the season. So nice to see him come back from the ankle injury and register a half sack himself. But this outside linebacker room are really looking formidable, and I'm really excited about future games where they run 3 of those guys at the same time because it's coming. They've done it in the past. They'll do it again in the future. They didn't need to do it in this game because when you get 6 sacks just using kind of like regular pressures other than a few DB blitzes here and there, you really don't need to bring 3 outside linebackers onto the field at the same time to get that additional rush because the 2 are doing it on their own.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we can blitz 4 guys on this defense and know that we're going to apply pressure every single
We're
time.
back to it. We're back to it, man. It's just like how it was when we had Stephon Tuitt next to Cam Hayward. Now that it's Derek Harmon, it's the same kind of feel again. And boy, am I here for it. You know, we've been talking about this for 2-3 seasons now with Larry Ogunjobi just not being good enough. There was that glaring area where we knew the quarterback could step up to his front right and make the throw because Larry wasn't going to get a push. It wasn't going to come from there. He got a sack and a half a year, and usually they weren't even clean sacks. So it's just tremendous to see this difference in the depth now. You know, if you're starting Cam Hayward and Derek Harmon in your nickel, you're bringing Benton and Y.A. Black off the bench as the next pass rushers. Man, I love this. I love them having this kind of depth, and it can only spell good things near the end of the season. We even got to see a little of Sezio Tomewa. We got a helmet. He got to play on the inside. He even got to play outside a little bit as an edge rusher in this game. So interesting to see him get involved. As the game went on, Jack Sawyer got involved a lot. They started playing him a lot near the end of the game as it started to realize that the game was kind of out of reach for the Browns. So nice to see some of those back of the roster guys get a little bit more reps at the end of the game and get that experience they need in order to develop more.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things to look forward to. Is this the defensive front is the same as the offensive front. They're just starting to get moving on all cylinders, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Such huge similarities, right? You got one vet that's been around and done it at a high level and a bunch of young dudes around him. I love it.
It's exciting to watch. The secondary of this game performed very well. Joey Porter Jr. with 2 pass breakups, Darius Slay with a pass breakup, James Pierre with a great pass breakup in the game. That was exciting to see when he had to come in. You obviously saw Jalen Ramsey with the 2 sacks. All around, these guys were getting to the ball and doing things. Deshaun Elliott led the team with 12 tackles, which isn't always a great thing. Juan Thornhill with the 7 tackles, and then even the backup Miles Killebrew had a tackle on the game before he went down with an injury. We'll get to that later. Brandon Eccles, if I remember correctly, almost had an interception and 2 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Was he the one that got called for a penalty? I don't remember what it was. Was he the illegal block on the punt?
No, he was the pass interference where the wide receiver actually threw him to the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember now.
Yep. That was a pretty awful call.
So, no, all around, I mean, a phenomenal game from the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, only allowing 9 points, 3 field goals, no points scored in the first quarter. I hope that we get to see this continue because, I mean, nine points a game, our offense should be able to beat that. So, yeah, exciting to see what we can do. Again, I realize rookie quarterback, we're going to play better offenses. I am excited to see that challenge and nervous a little bit, but I don't think any team we've played this year outside of keeping a tight end and a running back is going to stop the pass rush. They might slow it down. They're not going to stop it. Special teams wise, no interceptions or anything listed on the defensive side of the ball this week. Kick returns, Kayshawn Williams had 2 returns for 50 yards, 25 average. Kenneth Gainwell 1 for 24, so 24 average. It looks like they were close. I really think that Keyshawn Williams was a little bit more explosive, and we'll hopefully see him more. Keyshawn Williams had the 1 big punt return that was called back, so he has only 3 returns for 30 yards.
It's a good average, though.
It's still a good average. 10 yards of punt return is great. Most of the time, you're not getting more than 6 or 7, and that's including one of them that was horribly, horribly blocked. He got surrounded by like seven guys in like the first 3 seconds of having the ball. Boswell 3 for 4 on field goals. Unfortunately, had that mishap on the one that was missed. Boz is still for president, 2 for 2 on extra points. And then Corliss Waitman, 2 punts, 84 yards, still a good average, and he kind of whiffed one of them.
And the other one he got absolutely murdered on.
Yeah, true. Which doesn't count for his stat, but
yeah. Let's give Boz credit. The one that he missed was literally a grass problem. His plant foot slipped because there was a big chunk of grass and dirt that just moved out from underneath his plant foot. If that doesn't happen, he likely makes the kick because he makes all of them. So he's got 2 misses on the season. One is a bad field turf. The other one's blocked. So I'm counting neither one of them as his fault. I'm real excited about Keyshawn Williams. Man, did he look good. And it reminded me of what he did in the preseason. Sometimes it doesn't translate in the difference between the athleticism of the back of the roster, 90-man guys versus the starters on special teams is enough of a difference that a return man just doesn't look as good in a regular season game. He looked as good or better in this game. And this is the kind of thing that gets you playing time on offense. You know, after you see a guy do something like this in the return game, all the offensive coordinator can think is, man, can I get him on some wide receiver screens? Man, can I get him on some quick slants where he gets some open field and gets the ability to use that agility and his ability to make people miss in short areas. This dude has extreme short area quickness and elusiveness that just – this is not a normal punt return dude. I'm telling you right now, if he gets the opportunity to be the punt return man the rest of the season, he's going to take at least one for a touchdown, maybe two. He is way too electric to not do it. Teams are going to start kicking the ball out of bounds, which is what the Browns did later in the game. They started punting the ball out of bounds because they didn't want him having a chance of returning it anymore. So that's even better yet, because then they can't kick it as far if they're angling it out of bounds. So just this dude has the potential to be a game-changing type guy. Which, boy, you better hope you got a real important role in the wide receiver room right now, because there's only limited spots in the wide receiver room, and I feel like everybody has an extremely important role on the team or is a young high draft pick other than Scotty Miller. So Scotty might end up the odd man out here if he can't prove something in upcoming games.
Yeah. Yep. So excited to see how that plays out. Keyshawn's obviously going to be the return man moving forward. So I'm very excited to see him getting opportunities. After that performance, you don't just go back to not having him there. And especially like you said earlier, you're not demoting him to the practice squad again. He won't be there.
Nope.
So,
somebody will snag him if you do it now. He showed what he can do.
Yep. With that being said, we're going to talk injuries real quick. We have one injury. Unfortunately, Miles Killebrew, the special teams team captain, is done for the year. Non-contact knee injury, never good. Did they say what it was today?
They don't have an official on it yet. They haven't
get it
called
tomorrow.
him out for the year yet, but Tomlin did describe it as a significant knee injury. And the way it just kind of buckled on him in the open field under non-contact. You and I both know what that means. That's usually bad news. A lot of times that's ACL. If it is a torn ACL, there's no way he's coming back this season. So really stinks. This is the final year on his contract too. He's like 32 years old. He's a special teams only kind of guy. This could be possibly the end of the career for Miles Killebrew as a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, which is very sad.
It is. It is. He's been a tremendous special teamer, man. Maybe the best special teams only guy that's a non-punter, non-kicker, non-placeholder, or non-long snapper for the Steelers in a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, excited to see him hopefully come back, but again, significant knee injury, doubtful. We'll wait for an update from Mike Tomlin tomorrow, and go from there. Other than that, we have game balls, James.
We do have game balls, and Nick gave us his first choice as a game ball, so let's throw that one out there first.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He said let's go last, but I'm totally fine with putting him first. So
yeah, I think it makes sense though to have his be first. His first choice is Broderick Jones for having Myles Garrett look like a JV player out there. Pretty sure he only allowed him one tackle. It actually ended up just some assists. And then he's got some second choices on there as well, too. But easy to agree with that Broderick Jones should get a game ball from this performance.
Absolutely.
What about you, Cody? Who do you got for your game ball?
I can't not give it to the guy that I've been high on ever since we drafted him. It's going to be Nick Herbig gets my game ball. 2 sacks, and then on top of that, the almost interception. That play alone, just the fact that he got his hand up, he was running downfield. The ball was thrown kind of behind him. Freak of nature kind of athlete moment of reaching up behind him, tipping it, and still almost getting under it. And you got to remember, he has a limited role. He's not in there a majority of the snaps. It's still, at least in this game, because Highsmith came back, it's Highsmith and TJ Watt most of the time.
Yeah.
Herbig is earning himself more playing time, by making these plays and doing this. I mean, he's 2 sacks on limited plays is crazy. And then that almost interception. He already has 1 interception on the year from a Cam Hayward tip. I'm loving to see what this guy can do. I'm excited to see his role in the future and almost worried because I don't know if they're going to extend him. They've already have Alex Highsmith on a long-term extension, and TJ Watt just got an extension. So I'd love to keep Herbig around, but I have a feeling this is a guy that's going to unfortunately leave Pittsburgh due to circumstances later in his career after his rookie contract because Pittsburgh won't have the money that he deserves. So
I think this is all going to work itself out pretty well, Cody, and probably not so well for Alex Highsmith. And I say that just because I don't think that they're going to try to trade Alex Highsmith. I don't think that they should. I love Alex Highsmith.
Yeah.
He's a very good player. It's starting to look like you might have to give more snaps to Nick Herbig than you give to Alex Highsmith. That being said, I believe Alex Highsmith's contract runs out about the same time as Nick Herbig's.
Gotcha.
I think the extension that Highsmith signed is like the same year, or it's like a 1-year difference. So you can overlap that for 1 year if you need to. I don't see Pittsburgh letting Nick Herbig go. I think he's absolutely going to get an extension. And probably my guess is they'll do like a 2-year or something. Because Herbig's going to want to be able to prove what he can do as a full-time starter. Because there's a chance that once this kid gets the opportunity to be a full-time starter, he puts up some really, really serious numbers. Because he's leading the team right now with 4.5 sacks after 5 games as a part-time player. Sure, he had 1 game that he was the starter in there for Alex Highsmith being out, and he's had a significant number of snaps. But he is not getting like the TJ Watt kind of snaps. He's also not seeing the double teams that TJ gets. Let's be real about that.
Yep.
But at the same point in time, like, dude is way too good to let go. And Pittsburgh pays their elite defensive players. They don't let those guys leave. So I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised that Herbig's going to get paid and he's going to stick around.
Yeah. Before you give your game ball, do we want to assume who Jill would have given hers to?
Are you assuming it would be Patrick Queen?
Yep.
I think that's fair. Let's do it for her and say Jill's going to give it to Patrick Queen. We know how much she loves Patrick Queen. He was absolutely everywhere in this game, making all kinds of hits, great against the run. I think it was his best game of the season in pass coverage too, which has been kind of a weakness for him in some previous games. Just looking tremendous. And again, making this front office look good about these moves that they're making in the offseason. You know, Patrick Queen was the big free agent acquisition 2 years ago. He was the guy to try to right the ship that they've been trying to right ever since Ryan Shazier's injury. And he's looking like the real deal at middle linebacker, man. Patrick Queen is looking awesome. And I won't be surprised if this play continues throughout the season that he's finding himself back in the Pro Bowl again this year. Will not be surprised one bit. Absolutely.
James, it's now time for your game ball.
All right, man. You know how I like to do things. I kind of lean towards the big boys. I like seeing the big, strong dudes getting credit for what they do. And I had a real tough time this week between a defensive player that I think is making a huge impact outside of just his stat line, which his stat line is pretty nice, and an offensive guy who made his biggest impact of his career. And I got to go the offensive guy this week. It's Darnell Washington.
Yes, sir.
Man, I love seeing a guy this big and strong that can move. He mauls people in the run game. He finally got used the way he needs to be used in the offensive passing game. If you continue this, it's just going to open up the offense in the best way possible. Slight shout out to Spencer Anderson. He did run 1 pass route in this game. They're going to throw him the ball. It's going to happen, and I can't wait for it. But meanwhile, the uptick in snaps that Darnell Washington is getting, the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to him and throwing him some catchable balls on the move. I can't wait to see what this turns into in the future because this could be a real big season for Darnell.
Yeah. Very exciting to see Darnell have the game of his career so far, and it wasn't that great in the grand scheme of things. We know he can do more, but with the 4 tight end room, it's tough to get those calls, and you got DK on the outside. So, but happy he took advantage of the moment. He got the opportunity and took advantage, and that's kind of one of the things we talked about while we were there. Limited opportunity will result in limited results. So,
and he fights for every single yard when he gets that ball. He's not going down easy. He's not one of those dudes that somebody hits him and he goes dead leg. He's driving his legs and trying to get every single yard possible. And that wears down a defense, man. So let's just keep on doing it.
Absolutely. With that being said, that is going to wrap up today's show. We can't thank you guys enough for being here. Again, big shout out to Gresso's. Loved being there. It's a little bit long of a trip to go there weekly, so that's not happening. But it was an awesome time. We can't thank you guys enough. Be sure to like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe. Ring the bell. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Don't forget the 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Make James here very happy. And until next time, this is your host, James and Cody, signing off.
Peace.